From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill's Watch Party, where we unpack the biggest shows and movies that everyone's talking about. My name's Manisha Iswaran. I'm the executive producer for The Spill, and today I'm joined by...
Tina Burke, Mamma Mia's pop culture and social editor.
And I'm Ksenia Lukic, one of the hosts of The Spill.
So we've made it to the end of Nobody Wants This Season 2. We've unpacked all the episodes, and now we're going to talk about how it's been received. So what the world's saying, what the critics are saying, what the cast and crew are saying, and I guess how we all feel about it. So if you haven't watched the show yet, this is going to be very spoilery and it's not the one for you. So get caught up to speed and then get ready for our debrief. So to kick things off, we are going to talk about the critical reception to season 2 of Nobody Wants This. And one thing that's really come up, which we've spoken about in the coverage on this podcast, is the descent of Adam Brody's character, who might have lost his status as the best TV boyfriend of all time.
This is about kind of trying to make the realism of Noah. He was such a perfect character in season 1, and so many people were critical of that. It was like this kind of cookie cutter man, you know, the hot rabbi, but now we're seeing his flaws, which is definitely a good thing. But I know, Tina, you and I definitely had the ick from him.
Yeah, I think you're right. They tried to take him out of that sort of fantasy of like the perfect man and show the man beneath the surface. But all it did was sort of expose that maybe he's not that good of a boyfriend. Like we had him unable to come up with an actual personal gift for Joanne on Valentine's Day. You know, he was saying all the same things, doing all the motions that he'd done in previous relationships. And like it just showed that maybe he was, I don't know, a bit of a love bomber, like not a really good guy. It was awkward.
It's also interesting to me that this guy's in his 40s. Like, you know, this isn't a man in his 20s. He should know better than this. Like, it just kind of descended into this. Like, he was so unaware of the decisions he was making and how that affected people, particularly in that scene with Rebecca.
You talk about that scene with Rebecca. Are there any other questionable moments that people have sort of pulled out as Adam Brody not being peak amazing boyfriend that we all know and love from our various OC and Gilmore Girls days?
The main one that I've seen online that I agree with so much is the fact that he quit his job. That was his decision. He obviously felt like he missed out on that opportunity to be promoted and that that's Joanne's fault. It's not, but anyway. And a lot of people feel upset with him because it's like he does start to blame her. Like he makes the decision to quit his job and not be the second rabbi at that temple. But then when he can't get a job that he likes, he starts to resent her and the fact that she's not willing to convert yet. That was really the thing that gave me the ick, because that's more than just a gift. That's more than just, you know, saying something dumb in a passing conversation. That's a really slow, intentional like seed of doubt that was in him. So I'm seeing a lot of edits of him to like Sabrina Carpenter's Nobody's Son and like different like fuckboy songs on the internet. Like people are just mad at him.
That's a really human response though, to have that where you go, I'm not mad at you. I'm really not. But then as things start to go wrong, you might just sort of subconsciously start to connect to that and go, well, maybe it kind of is your fault.
Yeah.
You know, that I feel like that's very human. So even though it's a bit annoying for us to watch, it does feel like a very real character.
Was there anything you saw about Adam Brody in particular or Noah in particular?
On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, I saw people just standing him even more and going.
They're standing by their man.
They're
problematic
standing
as
by
he
their
is.
man. They said, you know, Adam Brody as Seth Cohen in the OC, and we've got Adam Brody as Noah. We love both of them. He's wonderful. Like they're the diehard Seth Cohen fans, and I don't think you can take that away from them.
You really can't. And I think another thing, you were talking about how people have found certain traits of his a little bit annoying this season. But the other thing that annoyed a lot of people since this has come out is that did season 2 just sort of feel like a replay of season 1?
Yeah, famously, I was very upset about this.
Valid.
Valid. I did see someone say season 1 and season 2 were exactly the same, except now I love Esther. And I think that's how I feel about the situation.
I get that.
Again, valid.
Valid, because we don't mind to repeat a theme, but you do want to see character development, you want to see growth, and instead it just felt like we were having the same conversations but worse. And I'm seeing so many people online feel that same thing of like, nothing happened. And I ended up in the exact same place as last time, and I'm upset about it because I feel like we keep learning and unlearning the exact same lessons all season long.
Yeah, Adam Brody spoke to Entertainment Weekly about like what the differences were. And I'd be interested to see what your responses are to this. He says, in terms of the difference, I think it's the same, but more. They came together at the end of the season like, I'm committing to you. And now they've gotten a much longer, more in-depth look at the difficulties and the compromises necessary of that. And is still saying, all that aside, I know what I'm getting into and I'm still doing it. So I think it's a stronger commitment.
I coming from with that. But I do think the issue was we do want to see some progression. We do want to see some resolution. And it just felt like they were dancing around that conversation constantly and still not really answering it.
Yeah, and it's important to show like what Erin Foster wanted to show of like what happens after the fairy tale like reunion at the end of every rom-com when you get back together and say love will conquer all. But yeah, you get a bit annoyed if every episode in out like you're just feeling anxious all of the time about will they, won't they fix this thing, but they're never addressing it. So you do want to see that progression and something actually happen. And it felt like life was moving at like light speed for everybody else. So the fact that Noah and Joanne were just like, you know what, should we talk about this again in a really bad way? Like it's two people who just can't communicate. And that's upsetting because they used to communicate so well in season one.
And maybe they're not compatible.
Honestly,
it's scary for us to think about.
I know. But my interpretation of it is they're the anchor of the season, right? They are the core couple. The real stories, and again, I spoke about this last episode, but the real stories are our side characters. We're an ensemble cast now. Like that is the core of this season. That's the biggest difference between season 2 and season 1. We kind of just got to see more and fall in love with Estée and fall in love with Morgan.
Yeah. The main thing, I guess, that's difficult for people as well is I've seen so many people criticizing that like maybe these two people aren't compatible. It's awkward because it's based on two real people and the people who it's based on made the show. So it's a little bit of an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it's important to remember this is not exactly how their lives went. It's dramatized for TV. Yeah. But at the end of the day, this season made it feel like we're watching a rom-com about two incompatible people who I'm not even rooting for anymore. And overwhelmingly online, I'm seeing so many people just get the ick over all of the season. Like they don't feel happy and romancy like they did last time.
And we don't want that anxiety in our comfort watch.
No, you want to feel happy.
I feel like some of it's a little harsh for me.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a softie. I really enjoyed it. I don't need to unpack everything here.
Yeah.
In terms of it being exactly the same. It was a great show. They just expanded on it, made it some really wonderful storylines.
Yeah.
And then, we'll see what happens. But I still thoroughly enjoyed it. And generally, the feedback was generally good. The comedy was there. The humor was there. The characters were there. The thing that frustrated people the most was the fact that we ended up in the exact same position with no progression.
Well, to keep you happy, Ksenia, let's talk about something positive from this season.
Because I agree. I'm very happy.
No, I want to keep on the positive train for
very
you.
Happy.
Well, the soundtrack has been something that's been hugely praised. It's got Selena Gomez, we've got Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie XCX, Phineas, Teddy Swims, a little bit of Taylor. Rolling Stone described it as holiday worthy for fangirls. And also wanted to shout out the little 7 Rings Ariana Grande moment because I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Tina, what did you think about sort of that needle drop style of where they just drop a song into a scene quite suddenly, which we did see happen a bit this season?
Yeah, look, my personal favorite had to be Bina declaring that like she was still gonna, rage war on Joanne and then like Ready for It by Taylor Swift playing. Yes. That was a great needle drop of Taylor Swift. They've learned from the summer I Turned Pretty.
They've learned.
But season 1 of this show also had some really nice needle drop moments. I think they just amped it up this time around because they saw the success last season. I don't know if you guys remember the song, but when Joanne and Noah had their first kiss, this song called See Her Out played.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, it's a banger of a track that no one had really heard before. Sorry to the fans of those people. But it took off on TikTok. Everyone was using it in edits. Everybody was playing it like on repeat to, imagine what if someone kissed me like that on the street? I don't know.
Manifest.
Mon, you are like a massive romantic.
Yeah,
I was manifesting.
That would have been you.
Yeah, so you're playing that soundtrack in your mind.
Yeah.
All the time.
And I think this time they wanted to like replicate that, but also with original songs because they had quite a few new songs that were like made for the show.
They've got that official soundtrack. Then there's like a playlist on Spotify as well. I've been listening to that for the last week. It's
really good.
It's actually really good work or study music. So if you need like something that's just going to sit really nicely in your ears that's not too intense, it's a good one.
I like to call it like California breezy. And that's like
it's a great description.
The show is set, so it makes sense. But it's like, would the sisters from the band Haim maybe listen to this song on a stroll to get a coffee? Like, that's kind of the sound of a lot of this music, and I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah, I think my favourite song had to have been the song that played when we had the big elevator montage at the end. It's called Bite My Tongue, and like I ran to Spotify to listen to it because it's just really nice, and I've been listening on repeat.
So Cassandra Coleman, the artist of that song, I saw this TikTok of her. It was so sweet. So she knew her music was going to be in the show. She didn't realize it was going to be in the trailer. right?
Aw.
So she played this beautiful reaction video to her seeing the trailer for the first time and seeing her song as the main song. And she's a pretty small artist, not a massive artist here. And she could just see how excited she was to be part of the show. She's like, so this show on Netflix called Nobody Wants This, they used my song.
That's
and I
so
was
sweet.
This little shot, it was really, really cute.
I love that.
So it's nice to see like smaller artists be kind of pumped up by that. It's kind of like what Seth Cohen did for Death Cab for Cutie.
Oh my gosh, such a Death Cab for Cutie girl only because of Seth Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah, he got me into that for sure.
So another thing that critics and viewers have brought up and questioned has been, I guess, how Jewish culture is represented in this season, especially given the fact that Erin Foster came to the religion later in life. So it's not something that she grew up in. And what have you seen her say about that, Ksenia?
Her response was always that she wanted to show a wide variety of Jewish culture and faith. And I think we do see that. We see Bina, who is our classic Jewish matriarch. We see Joanne, who is kind of battling with her faith. We see Esther, who is our modern Jewish woman. We see Rebecca, who is also, embracing her Jewish faith, but doing things her own way. Mm-hmm. And then we see, Joanne's mum just deciding that, yes, she's seeing God and the Jewish faith is for her. So I do think that there is a wide variety of representation of Jewish culture on there. However, as none of us are Jewish, it's probably not fair for us to make assumptions on whether it has been done accurately or not. I'm sure there's more of a complex discussion there about sort of Jewish culture and faith and whether it is a fair representation. But from an outsider, from a Gentile, from a Shiksa's perspective, I feel like you did a good job.
Now, guys, before we move on, it would be remiss to not touch on a really big thing that happened that put a little bit of a downer in a way of the premiere and the press cycle of Nobody Wants This season 2. Kristen Bell's Instagram post for her 12th anniversary with Dax Shepard, which didn't land the way that she was hoping. So if anyone, I don't think there's anyone listening who wouldn't have seen the post, but she put up a photo and it joked about this dark comment that Dax has apparently said at one point, which was, "I would never kill you. A lot of men have killed their wives at some point. Even though I'm heavily incentivized to kill you, I never would." And there was a lot of backlash. Reportedly a cancelled scheduled appearance on the Today Show with Justine Lupe. Do you guys think that it put a bit of a downer on the press cycle and the launch of something that they've obviously all worked towards for a really long time? So it's a bit of a tricky situation with the timing.
I'm sure Kristen Bell was not expecting that backlash. I also think that given the timing of their anniversary, it was inconvenient to say the least. I don't agree with what she said in the post. However, I don't think it would have had such a magnifying glass on it had it not been for the show being released and her being on this massive press cycle. It definitely put a dampener on it because it's probably the first negative press I've seen for Kristen Bell in a very, very long time. But Kristen and Dax specifically, the two of them are quite beloved as a Hollywood couple, very out there. And, everybody loves them and they talk about their relationship all the time and they're funny and they laugh. But this kind of was the first time we saw some really negative responses to them.
Yeah, you're right. I think if you are someone who's been very across their little peaks in scandal from time to time, it would have not been a surprise. But I think a lot of people had never seen this side of their humor before. They often make these kinds of jokes. They talk about their relationship in a way that is like this. And there are a lot of people on the internet who do feel that the way that Dax Shepard speaks about his relationship with her and the things that he has said about her from time to time make it seem like he is not the greatest husband to her. And so those people were very vocal in this instance because they were like, this is yet another example of the fact that we don't think that this is a good relationship. But again, that's their personal lives. That's not the show. But I think the timing of it meant that it was picked up more than it normally is.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've seen around is people saying that they feel like Kristen Bell doesn't necessarily have the discernment to understand when to make those jokes and not. Like it's one thing to make that joke in your own home. And if that's the sense of humor you guys have and you're confident and you're comfortable in that, that is your business. But putting it out publicly on the internet, it obviously received backlash.
And the core reason for that is because when you know someone intimately, whether it's as a friend or in a relationship scenario, you know those nuances of their personality. If you're taking that away, you're taking away those who we really know who you are.
Yeah.
You're taking that away. You're zooming out. people are seeing it from their perspective. They're putting their, you know, their social interactions in that light as well.
Yeah.
And it gets misconstrued. So I'm sure she didn't mean it. It wasn't well timed though.
No. Yeah. And I understand the people who are upset by it, as you said, same. But it obviously was unfortunate timing because she's had to pull out of press and she's turned her comments off for a period of time, which is just not ideal if you're, about to launch like the biggest show on Netflix.
Okay, so we're going to get into all the little tidbits and the Easter eggs sprinkled throughout this series. But can we please talk about what I think everyone has been talking about and thinking about when they watch this season? What is going on with the brand placement in this show?
The memes and the TikToks on this have been outrageous.
Yeah,
Tina, you spoke this so early on.
It just felt so blatant to me, in particular the Estée Lauder moment, which happens twice, and actually the first time snuck by me. The first time that she puts it on is when she's in bed and she puts on her advanced night repair serum. There you go. There's a free mention to Estée Lauder. She puts it on correctly. So the second time that it happens, it is at Abby Loves Smoothies baby naming ceremony. She's in the bathroom. She's on a FaceTime with her sister and she neatly puts her phone up against the beauty cabinet. And there is the bottle of Estée Lauder advanced night repair serum. And there's also the moisturizer. And it lingers on this shot. So for the whole time that we see like Morgan talking in the FaceTime, it's just the serum. And then she picks it up and puts it on her face. But she puts it on top of makeup. You don't do that. So if you are an active user of this serum, that is incorrect usage. And that is the thing that has pissed me off the most because that is expensive as hell.
And famously, we don't actually know Joanne's age. So we don't know if this advanced night repair serum is doing a good job. Like, is she 42?
Does she even need aging things? Who could say? She could be 25. I wouldn't know.
I'm going to counter this by saying that the reason this is I'm going into the mind of Joanne here. So she's in her nemesis's bathroom, right? And she's like, oh my God, this is really expensive, this stuff. I'm just going to put it on over the top because I'm like playing. Like she's not doing it for like accuracy. She's doing it to go through her enemy's stuff and kind of like screw things up.
Agree. That's why they've tried to do it.
That's the motivation behind the character.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But then why are we advertising it? If we're advertising it wrong, silly.
I know. It did make me laugh though. There were so many funny TikToks. I saw this one where this girl was literally just throwing the thing in the camera. It's very hard to do on a podcast.
Yes.
But I guarantee you it's funny.
Yeah.
She's like throwing the bottle in the camera lens and going, and over here and over here and over. It's just hilarious.
It just for some reason felt so much more in your face, which is I think why we're seeing these massive interactions online.
I am so immune to product placement that I didn't even clock it.
Oh, I clocked it.
The Dunkin' Donuts, the Estée Lauder, I was so like straight over my head.
There was one that really stood out to me and it reminded me of old school bachelor days when they went to the pasta making class and it had to be mentioned that it was booked through Airbnb.
Oh, yeah.
They had to bring that up. And it reminded me when they'd go on those dates in The Bachelor and how they'd set that up.
Do you know what I felt when I saw that scene? Because they just brought it up and thank you for booking, your Valentine's Day booking through Airbnb. Thank you so much. Down the barrel of the camera. Yeah. I felt like I was in Josie and the Pussycats. If you've ever seen that film.
I love that movie.
That whole movie's premise is that the bands are like subliminally advertising to people through their music. And then when you slow down the music, you like hear the advertisements. That is how I felt watching that scene in Nobody Wants This. Like you've tried to subliminally sell me on Airbnb, but it's not subliminal at all.
Is that where she talks about eating one Pringle and she's full?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so good.
I think that did throw a lot of people off because it's subtle in no way. It's subliminal in no way.
No.
It's subtle for
in
me,
particular,
clearly.
like the Dunkin' Donuts, she walks in and she's got the boxes and she's got the coffees. And I just don't believe that a fancy, we're not meant to know her age, but 40-something podcaster with money to have that apartment and those clothes. Yeah. I don't believe that you're buying Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I do because they all love it over there. They really do. Like they will not, that is like their go-to. A Dunkin' or a Starbucks, they don't place such a high esteem on coffee like we Australians do. They are drinking dishwater.
Look, if I see a pap photo of Erin Foster at a Dunkin', I'll believe it.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be knocking you down. I feel like I've really been attacking your theories today.
Commercial war.
There's also a wonderful moment where Justine Lupe calls the family DoorDash people.
Yeah.
And then she eats her favorite snack of flaming hot Cheetos by the pool.
I mean, have you had flaming hot Cheetos before?
Yeah. I haven't, but I will now that I've seen that product placement.
So good.
I can eat like 3 to 5 and
I know
then my
if you
mouth
eat
dies.
too many, it's not fun.
Yeah.
Not a fun time.
No. I know know, Tina, you had some reminders of other shows that have done like product placement in this way. Can you run us through those?
Particularly Netflix, which is so interesting because we pay them so much money. Netflix has money. They do not need to be doing this level of product placement, and yet they do, in particular in some really, really big shows. So maybe that's actually the mark of like a successful Netflix series is when you get the advertising dollars.
Get that money.
Exactly. Stranger Things has had Coca-Cola, Eggo's, Cadillac, Schwinn, Nike, Burger King. In 2019, after season 3, they reported that the total advertising value was more than 100 brands and estimated at over 15 million for advertising in Stranger Things.
Wow.
Likewise, last year when Emily in Paris came back and, we went on all of our journeys with Emily, they showed 37 brands throughout 10 episodes, including Starbucks, Apple, and McDonald's. In Emily in Paris, of all places.
I do think, though, Emily in Paris can slightly get away with it a bit more because there's all these big brands. She works in marketing. She's out there. This is just like having Cheetos by a pool. It's a little bit in your face. It's a little bit much.
Have you seen the things, though, with Apple? Apple won't let any villains in movies use Apple products.
Oh, interesting.
So only the good guys can use Apple products.
Yeah, if you're watching a movie and someone has a Samsung, they're bad.
They're bad. Unless it's like a Korean movie because no one has Apple products in Korea. They all use Samsung.
Well, product placement aside, should we talk about some of the things that were little sneaky behind-the-scenes call-outs, Easter eggs, if you will, for the Swifties among us or the people who just say Easter eggs?
Who just say Easter eggs.
There are so many Easter eggs.
There are so many. One of my favorites is a little Handmaid's Tale call-out when Estée is talking about the baby pressure from Bina, and she goes, "Is this the Handmaid's Tale?" And Timothy Simons, who plays Sasha, he starred in the Handmaid's Tale in season 6. He plays Commander Bell, and Estée literally goes, "I never saw past season 1, but I don't think it gets any better for the girls." And I just thought that was such a cute little moment, like calling out a different show that he's been
funny.
on.
In the same vein as that, Esther also says when Joanne's looking for a new apartment and Esther says to her, "Have you ever thought about moving to Orange County?"
Oh, yes.
And Joanne goes, "No, I don't like it there. No. I refuse to be one of those people who likes the beach." The great thing about that double call out, because obviously Adam Brody was on at the OC, as we've already mentioned, but also Seth Cohen hated the beach.
That's so
like
cute.
he was like a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
Clever
so it's such a
call out.
little, all those things. It's like they put those things in to make each other laugh.
That's the vibe.
Within it.
Yeah, it comes across as though they intentionally did it. One of the things that I had a good giggle at was when Morgan comes out wedding dress shopping and the first dress that she tries on is an exact same dress as the real actress's wedding dress, Justine Lupe. And they all make fun of how ugly they think it is and that it looks like pajamas. And that's not an Easter egg, right? That's just a silly little thing. I mean, it is an Easter egg if you care enough, like clearly I noticed. But
You're like, I was writing it down.
I wrote that down straight away.
Oh, you picked it up straight away.
But you would think that like that was just to make themselves have a giggle. That's how they all come across. And so it's actually kind of really nice because quite a few of them are really in-jokey.
Well, I mean, the obvious one was also the Adam Brody where they're at Abby Love Smoothie's house.
Yeah.
And Joanne goes, "Oh, she's really pretty." And he goes, "Not my type." Well, obviously she
Famously she is.
So cute. And then, the necklace that they all wear is designed by one of their friends, Jen Meyer. We also had like the Foster sisters mentioning themselves because Sarah Foster did wear a wedding dress to her own sister Erin's wedding. So like it was just cute, It was kind of fun. If you knew, you knew. And then if you didn't, oh well.
And there was also in some of the wardrobe department choices, a lot of the girls were wearing Favorite Daughter, which is actually Erin Foster's brand, her designer label. So there's that kind of little one. One of my absolute favorites, which like shook me when I finally realized it. Someone on TikTok brought it to my attention as I was scrolling.
Yeah, we thank you TikTok girlies because you really showed us some
honestly,
things.
these people are just
They're
saved my life.
They're minds.
Doing the most. So Stephanie Farrisee, who plays Joanne and Morgan's mum Lynn, was in Hocus Pocus, our favourite Halloween movie. Well, one of my favourite Halloween movies. So she plays the mum and she wore the very classic Madonna cone bra costume in that movie.
Yeah.
And then at the Purim celebration, which is the quote unquote Jewish Halloween, she's wearing the exact same costume.
Yeah.
And it's so good. And so many people would have just completely glossed by that.
I was one of those people. I glossed by that.
You wouldn't have even noticed it. But then people go, wait, I recognize her from somewhere. And then you finally click. It's so good.
I also love that this is the time of year when people watch Hocus Pocus. So many people were seeing it after Nobody Wants This. And then even if they hadn't clicked, it was coming together for them, which is really cute.
So are there any other Easter eggs you guys picked up on that you were like, oh, I love that they've snuck this in here?
It's not quite an Easter egg, but it is like how incestuous or connected, I won't say incestuous, how connected the cast are. Now, Netflix put out like a post on socials. Let's see if everybody can keep track.
Keep up with this. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get your brain out, get the mind map out.
Your brain out.
Get the brain out. Leave it in your brain, but leave it in your head, but take your brain out.
Just use it.
Kristen Bell's on-screen boyfriend, Adam Brody's real-life wife, Leighton Meester, plays the on-screen wife of Joe Gillette, who is the real-life partner of Jackie Tone, who is on-screen enemies and real-life BFFs with Kristen Bell.
I need a mind map, but I get it.
It's good.
It is very
so
good.
funny.
Yeah.
It's so funny. So, Leighton Meester's husband in the show is actually Jackie Tone's real-life boyfriend.
Yeah, and I didn't know that one while watching, so that was fun when I realised that.
That was
Love
so
that.
fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like they're all connected. It's clearly like a big family, which is why they've put so many of these great little Easter eggs in there just as a way to make each other laugh.
Yeah, so cute.
Now, there are a few plot lines that fans just really can't get over because we're all so invested in these lives we watch on screen. Tina, what were some of the things that you saw people online that they just couldn't get enough of and that they wanted to see more of? Because I know there's something in particular that I saw a lot of.
I saw so much of people obsessing over Sasha, Morgan and Estée. As a trio, there were a lot of things about how they're becoming best friends. People want Morgan and Estée to be more friendly, for that to really develop. But weirdly, the thing I kept seeing that I did not expect to see was fans still wanting more than ever for Sasha and Morgan to end up together, and actively seeing edits of them, shipping them, memes about how much they deserve to be together, and the tone of it essentially being like, well, Estée left him, so now they're free to date. And I'm like, what?
Do you think this is partly because there is that discourse of people saying that men and women can't be friends?
Possibly.
Like, I feel as though there's so little representation of genuine female-male friendships, because anytime we see that in a rom-com, they end up together.
Yeah.
That is what we expect when we see male and female friendships.
And I think they have really great chemistry as friends.
They
and
do.
a lot of people, are not willing to see that and just let it lie as a friendship. Like they want to see it turn into something more.
Do you guys have male friends?
Oh,
Long pause.
Long pause. Like, I don't really know anymore. Yeah, I do, but I don't
listen to this.
I do, but like I've also never sent a weird
Straight male
flirty
friends.
text to any of. Oh no,
Like one to two.
I do. But
Okay.
they're all married to my friends too.
I'm not trying to be a pick-me girl here, so please. I've always had lots of guy friends. I've always had so many guy friends. I've always been like one of the guys.
Weirdly, the men just love me.
I don't know. So I'm familiar with that kind of relationship, and I know a lot of people who have just straight male friends.
Yeah.
But I definitely think we're so conditioned to see male and female friendships end up as relationships.
Yeah, and look, like you said, millions across the globe, straight male and straight female friendships and nothing more. But I also think so many women would have the experience of having had a male friend who they thought was just a friend that eventually turns around and does the whole like, oh, I like someone. Can you guess who it is?
Catching
Bullshit.
feelings.
It's you. What a surprise. And you're like, oh, fuck. But like, I
Catching
think
feelings.
sort of in this situation, people have like flipped it a little bit. And it's like they think that Morgan's caught the feelings. And so they just want her to be happy. And I'm like, can we let it lie? Like, let them be friends. It's going to ruin that dynamic.
The edits of Morgan and Sasha remind me very strongly of my era growing up and no one getting over Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez breaking up and how we had to just keep making edits of them and be like, we can't get off this train. I know it's a slightly different situation.
But it's still
I see you.
happening.
I see you.
Reminiscent.
Yeah, they're on the train and they don't want to get off for
Yeah.
sure. I saw someone post and their caption was like, now I have permission to be delusional. And I was like, just because they're single, the episode literally ends with them having a conversation where he says he will wait forever for his wife to come back to him.
I'm
and fans
delusional.
are like editing that scene with romantic clips of them.
I love them. I love them together. I do really love their chemistry.
Yeah,
they are beautiful.
Both Timothy and Justine have such great chemistry on screen. So I think that's why people
for
want to
sure.
see them together. But can't we just enjoy them being
And
friends?
also Esther's so much fun.
No, we love Esther.
Yeah.
If I don't want to see them break up. I really don't. I love Esther. Jackie Tone is like incredible.
Yeah.
And I
We
didn't
want to
realize-
see them
oh,
get back together and be happy.
Oh, one of the things that I didn't mention about Esther, did you know that she was in The Nanny?
As who?
She played a love interest of Brighton.
Oh, like she was a little kid.
She was like, she was little.
Yeah.
And she basically was a mini nanny. So she had the big hair and the outfit. And I had no idea. So I absolutely adore Jackie Tone. So Sasha cannot leave Esther because Jackie Tone needs to be protected.
And she was in The Nanny one
And she
time,
was
so
in The
she
Nanny, which is
deserves
one of
to
the
be.
all-time great sitcoms.
Guys, Hollywood is small. They're all in everything.
Yeah.
So one cute little moment I liked from the press tour was when Adam Brody was doing an interview and he talked about how Leighton and him, obviously real life husband and wife, on the show, on the set, they were actually sharing a trailer, which you wouldn't think actors of that level are doing.
Yeah, he was in an interview with Kristen Bell and she was shocked to hear that, which also I thought was quite strange.
Yeah, you wouldn't notice
How
that.
did you not know that the trailer said Adam Brody and Leighton Meester on it?
How did I ask her? Well, the producers reached out to me and said, do you think she would be? And would you be? And I said, I am, ask her. And then they did. And that was it. And then we carpooled and shared a trailer and all the good stuff.
You shared a trailer?
Yeah, we always do. We work together a lot.
That's cute.
Yeah. You know, you get to be domestic at work too.
And she works with her husband all the time, so maybe they should be taking notes and share a trailer, like reduce, reuse, etc.
I think if I worked with my husband, I'd want my own trailer.
Interesting. It reminds me of Tom Holland because obviously he and Zendaya work together, and he spoke about how like the production companies love it because they get to pay for one hotel room instead of two.
Budgeting,
Like,
guys.
that's so cute.
Well, maybe just a
budget
bigger
friendly.
room.
Yeah, budget friendly trailers from the stars. That is very sweet. I like to think of
Those
them holding
Hollywood-
hands.
Those Hollywood trailers are very luxurious though. Like they're not, it's not like
It's not a bunk bed.
no, they're really nice. So I would want to share if my partner was on set with me.
Yeah.
Then you can kind of like hang out together,
Yeah.
chill. Like
Have some
there's
bevs.
full hair and makeup areas. There's like couches, fridges, a toilet. Like it's very luxurious.
Love that for them.
Another thing there's been a little bit of chat about is someone who almost got cast, not Adam Brody,
Which
as
is-
Noah.
Absolutely wild because this show would not have taken off the way that it did if this casting had happened. Tell us more.
I'm shocked.
Well, we
by
need
this.
to say who it is,
We need
guys.
to say who it
Tina,
is.
do you want to
Really
do the
build it
reveal?
up.
I'm ready. No, but I'm ready because it's going to surprise everybody. They wanted to offer it, and Erin Foster did offer it to Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll?
I cannot see it.
I cannot see it. If you don't know who Nick Kroll is, look up Big Mouth, look up Don't Worry Darling, look up Comedian. He's a funny guy. He is not an Adam Brody type at all
I
whatsoever.
feel bad. I don't want to like, you know.
And I think he's a cutie.
he is
He is a
cute,
cutie.
but he's not a leading man.
He's not a Seth Cohen type. He's not a Dave Rogalski. Like, he is not the kind of man that we know Seth Cohen and Dave to be.
No, and I think it was really funny how he talked about, because he actually got offered the role.
He did.
And then he decided to pass on it because I think he said they were having their baby
Which
at the
is
time.
very nice.
Very valid.
He's there to be
Work-life
with his
balance.
wife. Love that.
But he went on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast and he said, literally, it was dead in the middle of when we were having our baby. There were a lot of elements that went into it. And then he said, have I regretted it? Watching Adam absolutely just star in one of the biggest shows on Netflix and people fall in love with him all over again? Yeah. If you've asked me if I've watched it, I have not. I cannot watch it.
I love that he refuses to watch it. I would too.
Do you know
I
I would
would
watch it.
Do you know what's quite nice though? Do you think we would have gotten the ick as much because he probably would have brought more comedy to it?
Yeah,
There wouldn't have been. I know that it's hard for us to see him in a romantic role, and I literally just said I can't see him as the leading man. But now that I'm thinking about it, if as a comedian, he probably would have brought a lot more humor, more like that
Yeah.
Seth Rogen rabbi kind of vibe. It
Yeah.
would have been a completely different energy.
And because, like, he is a good looking man, it's more that personality wise, everything else I have seen him in, it doesn't fit this bill, right? Doesn't mean he couldn't have done it. And maybe if he had, it would be like, do you remember when Bill Hader did the Amy Schumer movie? Trainwreck?
yes.
I mean, Bill Hader, to me, also objectively really handsome man. But a lot of people didn't see him in that way. And then when he did Trainwreck, everyone was like, wow, he's charming. So maybe Nick Kroll could have had that moment. Sorry to Nick Kroll.
Steve Carell and Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, sometimes they
Like
have a little
people are
moment.
really
Cute.
obsessed with Steve Carell. Like he's hot.
He is
Yeah.
hot. I think Nick maybe would have come with some pre-existing ick tendencies already if he took on the role, whereas Adam Brody sort of came in as this like hotshot who got icky in season 2. But I think
Yeah.
Nick would have already come with some built-in ick, and then we would have seen where it went.
So
Sorry,
maybe he would
Nick.
have gone up
Maybe.
rather than down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, only way
A
up.
formal apology to Nick Kroll after this podcast.
Yeah, we need like
guys.
we need a sliding doors parallel universe where this happens.
Maybe a spin-off.
Maybe he could be in a cameo role next season or something like
They
that.
definitely will do that. The cameos are so good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he can feature in this version because there is apparently a different way that Erin Foster wanted the finale to end. So maybe Nick Kroll can star in this version. I
He'll
don't
come
think
and
so.
bring us to life.
So she was actually pushing for the couple to get engaged at the end of season 2, which I mean, that seems crazy to me. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. But the showrunners were like, no, it's moving way too fast. It makes no sense for them to get engaged. How would you guys have felt if that happened, Ksenia?
That to me is a more definite end.
Yes.
So if Netflix had seen the numbers and gone, oh, we're not quite, we can leave it here, it's fine. Whereas you're leaving people wanting more with a little bit more of a cliffhanger, even though it does feel like the same as season 1. We still want to see what's next, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, the place where it would have worked, it would have to have been like midway through the season, and then the cliffhanger is, or something about like the conversion, is the way that she's converting, or they get engaged early on in the season, and then the majority of the season 3 is like exploring how she does conversion. And I think that would have been more interesting. I just think it's not a good storytelling move.
Yeah. And I am so mad, as we know between the three of us, because I won't shut up about it, about the fact that Noah comes back and is like, I solved all of our problems because I love you and our love is enough. And then she's going to convert. So actually their love is enough and they will get back together. But very much he could have come back and said that and she wasn't ready to convert. And we are then in the exact same position of like, this doesn't work. But cool, we know they're headed somewhere now that's going to be more interesting. They still need time to be a healthy, normal couple. They've had an entire few months or however long this season is meant to have gone for where they're like hiding their true feelings from each other. They're not being a real couple because they're keeping like the way that they feel under the surface at all times. They've both been riddled with anxiety. He's been jobless. Like it has not been a good time for them. They need to actually now, knowing that they're moving forward as a couple, just like be a normal, healthy couple for a bit. Then get engaged. That's my feelings as a viewer, not a commentary on the real life woman who became engaged probably at this point in time.
There are 2 options for season 3. Either 1, Joanne is converting and we're going on a tour of what it's like to convert to Judaism.
Yeah.
Point 2 is Noah leaving as a rabbi. He's still Jewish. He celebrates his Judaism, but he's no longer a rabbi. And so they get married, but they are an interfaith couple.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
So then it's like they're both making sacrifices in a sense.
I think a lot of viewers would have preferred that.
I agree. Yeah. I'd like to see that.
That could be like because at the moment, so much of the onus is placed on
her.
On Joanne. It is this is my non-negotiable, even though I keep coming back to you. This is my non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Either convert, tell me when you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Or there's the door. That's kind of what this is, which I think is really a lot of pressure to put on a relationship so early on.
Absolutely.
And they clearly love each other.
I think a lot of viewers would have been really like happier with that sort of angle because so much of the commentary that I've seen online from people feeling upset is that it does feel like she's having to give up a lot of herself to make him happy. Dolly Alderton speaks about this a lot and she talks.
Love Dolly Alderton.
We love Dolly.
We love Dolly.
But she does speak about how often in a relationship, if there are different morals or, you know, differences in the lifestyles or things that you want, it will often be the woman who makes the compromise. And I think some people felt like she was really being put in this position of having to be the one who changed everything about herself. And so I'm sure some people would have really liked to have seen that maybe it was more of a compromise. However, again, this is about faith rather than just like
culture.
Something smaller, right? Like it's a big thing. It's faith, it's culture, it's everything to him. And I do think they're going to follow the real life story. She's going to convert. They will end up happily married, but I am excited for maybe us to have like a bit more fun this time around on the journey. Like a bit of fun where like Bina's trying to sabotage her conversion or like sabotage how people see her in the temple or like her learning the culture and like having some wholesome moments too. Just a bit more like relaxed energy for the two of them and then get engaged.
I agree. I don't think anyone came out of that craving an engagement. All the commentary has been around maybe we need to calm down.
We need to pump the brakes, guys.
Just enjoy the bedside table for a bit. You know, just enjoy the bedside table.
And your advanced night repair.
Yes, please put some serum on.
So we do officially know now that there is going to be a season 3. They announced it in a really cute way. Kristen Bell did a little video with the cast and it was so in the spirit of Nobody Wants This. It was really joyful and cutesy the way that she told them. And they all sounded really surprised and really excited to be back on set together.
I thought it was so sweet. Like you said, just so in keeping with the show. Like it's nice to see that they all have that vibe together when, you know, they're all best friends and that's all I want from my shows.
We got ordered for season 3.
Oh my God, yay! This is so exciting! Hey girl.
Hey girl, we got picked up for season 3.
Yeah, no, I knew that. I think I told you that.
Oh.
You're not like calling the cast and telling them, right? Because I feel like I should probably do that.